One of the categories you talked about, some of the other more equity specific categories, but one category which seems to have also done very well. And I'm asking this again from a retail investor entry point, is the balanced advantage, fund category, which is a hybrid, or you can call it a dynamic asset allocation. But is that a good way, according to you, for a beginner who's never invested to actually start wetting their feet, get a sense of what a mutual fund is? Or do you think if somebody is 22, 23, young, uh, and more from your generation than mine, uh, can see, that I can stay for 10, 15 years, 20 years and build big wealth? Uh, what is your advice for a beginner?
Yeah. See, I think PAF definitely fits the bill for a first-time investor. So let's say you don't want to complicate it, but you want to get a sense of how to do equity investing. I think more or less, while you won't get equity like returns over long periods of time, but at least you will get some return which is probably between pure debt or fixed deposits and equity, but with slightly lower volatility. I'm not saying there won't be any temporary declines, because in COVID fall, while the index was probably down 40%, most balance advantage funds were still down 20-25%. So 20-25% is still a reasonable. It's like one fourth of your earnings, right? So, but it's a good starter category for somebody looking at investing in equity. And once you get comfortable, you can move on to pure equity funds. The other way to approach it for a beginner would be that level one should be that you just focus on increasing your savings rate, because net all said and done, whatever products that you pick, the return rates are not going to make an incrementally big difference, because you are starting off on a very small base. Probably once you cross your 40, when you look back, you know that, hey, that amount was insanely small, that I really did not need to break my head over. So I think the level one would be that get your savings rate high. Now, mostly people spend and say your savings rate is only 5%. Then don't worry about which is the next big sector fund or big fund to probably make it 10, make it 15, 20, 30. At least I think 30 should be a good enough target. I'm sure 30 is very difficult when you start off, because your salaries are low, your spendings are high. But eventually, probably even 5, 10 is good. But get the habit in. So my sense is level one should be to focus on getting your savings rate at least as a percentage of your salary to at least 30. Now, obviously, you'll start small, but that's fine. The second one would be that then how do you convert the savings into something which is easy enough for you to execute? Just split it into three buckets. I call it the 5-5-R strategy, which is 5% goes into your some liquid fund as an emergency. The other 5% goes into, say, a short-term fund, just for all your short-term expense, because like all said and done during your 20-25 to like 35, inevitably there'll be a lot of stuff which happen. You might want to buy a car, there is a marriage which is coming, and then a lot of short-term expenses come, whether you like it or not. So another 5% goes there, and whatever remaining you can do. Let's say you do 20% as overall savings, the remaining would be 10%, right? That you can put it into a simple plain vanilla Nifty 50 passive index fund, and then begin off with. And then for the first 2 lakhs, don't complicate. Just build it in a Nifty 50 index fund. Then maybe in the next 2 to 5 lakhs, you can probably add a mid cap index fund as well. Once you cross the 5 lakhs, by then you are probably 2, 3, 4 years in. Then you are reasonably accustomed, right? And then you can start looking at active funds. So I think if you follow this route, maybe you can straight away directly move on to equity funds, because you are anyway creating the buffer through an emergency fund at 5% and a short-term fund at 5%. So the 5 are all these 5% is as a percentage of your salary. So I think this can be a good way to start. And then eventually the third point is the most important thing is your salary. Unless and until your salary or income increases, very difficult to build wealth. All said and done, how much ever returns you get, you need this salary engine to also grow strongly over the first 10, 15 years. Eventually, over a period of time at 40s, while you build a large portfolio, then both of them contribute equally, like your savings and the returns from your portfolio incrementally add. But I think the early stage, it's only your salary which does the 80% of the burden is on your salary. So make sure that you focus on. So savings rate, the 5-5-R strategy, and then the third level is you obviously have to, for the big part of it really lies with you and not on the fund managers. Like, you have to increase your salary.
It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, Arun. Thank you so much for explaining things so nicely. I look forward to many more conversations. I do have a few of your research reports, which I will be putting out as small videos, because it's important that we get people like you from your generation to talk about concepts which keep changing, attitudes keep changing. But the most important thing is, yeah, as you rightly said, you can't rely only on your salary and let it take all the burden. You have to start investing as well. Small, start, but keep at it. Thank you so much, Arun. Lovely talking to you.
Thanks a lot, Vivek.